From the headlines that move us
to the plays on the fields and the people making a difference.
It's the news, sports, and stories that keep our community alive.
This is the Heartbeat of Tampa Bay.
I'm Christopher Ingram.
And I'm Sarina Fazan. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Hello, Sarina. Nice to have you back.
Thank you, Christopher. It's so wonderful to be back.
We have a wonderful guest here today.
I mean, he's a rock star.
He is a rock star, no pun intended. The legendary sportscaster, broadcaster, journalist, Rock Riley is in the house. Rock, good to see you again.
Great. It's an honor to be here with you two superstars.
Oh my gosh.
The honor is all ours.
Throwing it back at us. Love it.
I mean, you've been here forever. You and I crossed paths at Bay News 9, and then we were both at AM 820.
Yeah.
You're on WDAE now.
Right.
You're writing for our mutual friend Brian Burns with the Tampa Free Press. You're just everywhere, man.
You got to stay active. And you know, there was a friend of mine who was he was at a newspaper, and of course they went digital. And years ago, his boss would say, "You know what? You got to be in the office more." And he's like, "You want me to break stories? Do you think newsmakers are going to come to our place, knock on the door? I've got a breaking news story, so let me be out in the field." So that's why I'm out at the Bucs, the Rays, the Lightning, USF. I just like being out there, and that's where you're going to get your news and information. You know what I mean?
100%. And Rock, so I wanted to ask you, so we were talking about it, just, you know, you've been in this business for a long time. I mean, 4 decades, right? But honestly, sports is in your blood, right?
Right.
So when did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Actually, when I was in college, and I started out as a PE major, and I was like, you know, that'd be nice, but I really want, and back in the day, a long time ago, the big thing used to be the 6 and 11 o'clock news. I was in the New Jersey area. We had New York City TV stations that we could see, and I'm like, I'd see the sportscasters, you know, and one was very entertaining, and I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Right.
And then, you know how it goes, you get out of college, it's hard to get the first gig, you got to work for free for a while, and also, you know, you send out a lot of tapes, nobody's going to give you a chance. What's your plan B? I had no plan B. I'm like, I want to have fun, I want to cover sports, I'm going to do that, and I just never gave up. And if you never give up, you'll eventually get there and get gigs and stay in it.
Best advice I ever got when I was a kid was find something that you enjoy doing so much that you'd be willing to do it for free.
Right.
And then find a way to get paid for it.
Right. That's basic. Yeah. That's basically it, you know?
And all three of us had that in common in terms of like growing
100%.
up wanting to be in the media and journalism.
And I love when you said that you had to work for free. I mean, I know I worked for free to break in. And, you know, honestly, breaking into news is hard enough, but sports is even more difficult for sure, because there's hardly any sports anchors. I mean, you know, at least you have like multiple reporters, you have multiple anchors, but usually there's only 1 or 2 in the sports department.
Right. And the thing is, everybody wants to do it because it's fun. A lot of times, to this day, I'm constantly, hey, can I follow you and can I get over there to the Bucs? No, I did that one time to a mailman, and oh my God, he had his credential pulled. I told him not to say anything. He went in the wrong locker room, and I'm like, I'm never going to do that again. But where it is today, I was helping out a young man. He's going to be going to college, and it's just changed. I'm like, build your own brand. You have a phone. You can go on YouTube. You can do your own show. Try that. Get your reps. I was always told, like, go into a closet, talk for 15, 20 minutes straight. See how you do. And you're like, you think you have all this knowledge. I also get a lot of fathers, and they'll come, or mothers, they'll say, my kid knows so many stats. He follows sports. Okay, that's great. Can he entertain?
Yeah.
What's his delivery like? And I tell the kids, though, in this day and age, everybody, you know, build your own brand.
Right.
You can start. It's not like
that
you
hard.
have to go to a station for somebody to give
like
you a chance.
we would have to have done, right? There was
Right.
no
It's
YouTube
changed.
back then.
Right.
Kids.
You know?
I know. No, it's you know, honestly, you're bringing up such a great point too, Rock. It is truly incredible because anybody can do anything now. You just have to put your heart and soul, you know, like into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk sports.
Okay.
I want to hear from you. I mean, you've been here a long time, but you've traveled all over. You've been in a lot of other cities where there's sports towns. How would you rank Tampa as a sports town?
It's different because we live where so many people come to vacation and so many transplants want to live here. Yeah. So is it ever going to be like a Boston or a Philly where you've got generations and generations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so hard. Even when teams are doing good, you're going to get the out-of-town teams or people that move from the north, and it's hard for them to give that up. The big thing for me is when you have kids, and I've seen this where fathers say that they were an Eagles fan, and their kid is growing up in Tampa Bay, and they're making them be an Eagles fan.
Right.
Let your son, he lives here.
Right.
You had your time. But I understand.
It's a generational thing.
Yeah, but sports fans are passionate because I find that out doing radio. Now, when I do live radio, we have a big text board, and it's constant. Guys are like constant, and it's like, you said this name wrong. You did this, and it's not like
everybody's
oh
a
my
critic.
God, I don't even want to look at that until I'm done. But you know what? We have hockey, pro hockey. We have NFL. We have Major League Baseball. We got the colleges. Yes, we have USF, but we have a lot of Gators and Knowles fans that live here. I think it's a great market, and we also have a lot of young people that live here. So, no, it's not going to be the only thing because we also have the beaches. We have so many things you can do. When you're up north and there's nothing else to do but be inside and watch your teams, we have a lot of different things. So it's a different kind of market. That's the way I describe it.
You know, Christopher and I talk about this all the time too. Just going back to sports though, like in general, sports it galvanizes a community. Don't you think? I mean,
it does.
You know, whatever side you're on, politics or whatever, when it comes to a team and everybody's behind a team, it's such a beautiful thing, don't you think?
Oh, it really is, especially when a team is like they're in the playoffs and they're going to go far. Like look at hockey, you know, fans were loving that, then they get eliminated. Or if the Buccaneers are on that path and they're going. Even the Rays, same thing. It's an outlet. And what I also find is like a lot of guys, they've got jobs, they got families. A lot of times they don't love their jobs. They're getting out of work. Now they're coming home. Now their wife's going to have different things for them to do. I'm not saying everything. So, and there's the kids, and they got all this, and so their outlet is their team and their sport, and that's what I find a lot.
Right.
You know.
Well, come on now.
No,
it's so funny that.
Not everybody. You know, there are people that love their jobs and all that.
And in all fairness,
No, I'm laughing about the fact that, like the male perspective, the guy comes home, oh gosh, the wife has
the honey-do list.
Come on, are we that bad?
No. Where would we be though? Where would we be?
Exactly. Yes, thank you. Where would you be?
And in defense of the ladies, and to the credit of a lot of the teams, particularly the Bucs, their outreach to women and the NFL's outreach to women has really been a phenomenal success by all measures.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because the Buccaneers are on the forefront of that. Darcy Glazier, one of the owners, they've made it a point. I Am Woman. They have these big things where
they have like events.
They have events. Also, the NFL. They're big, if you've noticed, big on flag football for kids and girls. Because I have my brother-in-law that's worked on Park Avenue, right across the hall from Roger Goodell.
Wow.
And he's in these marketing things. And he told me 2-3 years ago, he said, the NFL looked at Major League Baseball, how they do the Little League World Series. Now, they've done that for years in Williamsport, and it's a big thing, and you have different countries that come. Japan, the kids from Japan are very good. How can we do that? Let's do flag football where it's not tackle. Everybody can play. Let's do girls. Let's get them in different countries. You notice these games now are in Mexico, and they're going to Germany again, and Buenos Aires. They're big on building the brand bigger. Get girls, get them with flag football. So that's the big thing for the NFL. My oldest daughter
played flag at Robinson, and I think they got some sort of gift of something or other from the NFL.
See?
Yeah. And they were a great team. That Robinson team is.
I
really
remember
good.
hearing about that. Yeah.
Okay, the big question on everyone's mind in Tampa Bay right now is the Rays baseball stadium going to Tampa. Might lose it to Orlando. I'm not going to get into all the political stuff.
Right.
Because we all know
everybody knows how I stand about taxpayer-funded stadiums.
No, I understand.
He doesn't have an opinion about it at all. Christopher Ingram does not have.
No, that's good. You gotta have a stance.
But what's your take on what's going on and what might happen?
Here's the thing. It's so much money, okay? So it's a $2.3 billion project now. But the thing is, it's no longer like the old days. Okay, it's just a stadium, often interstate. No, it's building communities around it. I always say, will this have a new zip code? It's going to be a new town, basically. Yeah. They looked at the Atlanta area, the Battery, and what they have done. So the thing that I look at this, I covered this for 20 years. There's been so many ups and downs, twists and turns. Oh my God, are we going to go through this again? It's going to take some time. And look at what Jeff Vinnick did with the Water Street project in Tampa, with the addition, with the not only the Marriott Waterside, JW Marriott, with the Pearl, with these restaurants around. They even got it down to they don't even have any palm trees, if you've ever noticed. They did not want to make it Florida. And he was incredible. The Tampa Bay Lightning have sold out every single game since 2014. Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That's why my brother-in-law, who is in the marketing, they came, the NFL, they brought 5 people down here two years ago and studied. We're the NFL. Look at the ratings. Look at how people, take in the NFL. How did they do it with hockey in downtown Tampa? They made it an event, build around it. And the thing about it is, these new owners, when they applied, you have a lot of billionaires that apply. They don't take every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Right. They go through their financials with a fine-tooth comb. It was a unanimous approval by all the ownership groups in Major League Baseball to approve these guys. So they had to have a plan. But you are right. If this does not come through here, Orlando's knocking at the door. There are some other communities, they want it because they see what it can bring in, building around work, live, play, bars, restaurants, apartment complexes, condominiums. I remember years ago when new Rays players would come to St. Tropicana Field, and they would say, "Hey man, where's the play?" They, scuttlebutt. "Where should we live?" "Oh, you got the beaches. You got to live on the St. Pete side." Then there was a player, Tyler Glasnow, a couple of years ago. He was on MLB Network, and they were saying, "Where's the place to live?" He's like, "Downtown Tampa. This place they call the Water Street. It's hip. You got the river walk. You got everything down there. That's where you want to live." Young people live there. Now, young people are also moving to St. Pete, as you see too. But that's what I'm saying. It's not just a stadium, and for them to make it work, because it costs so much, you got to have everying else around it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Rock, you bring up such a great point, because this is Christopher and I can be on opposite, where sometimes we don't agree with that, and that's how I see it. I see that you do give the billionaires the money, but what is built around it? I mean that's I mean, this is how I feel, right? So, and for people who have watched our previous shows, they're gonna get it. But
and I'm gonna be good today.
No. I don't want you.
I don't know if it's gonna.
I don't know.
I'm just being honest.
But it's interesting when you bring up Water Street.
Right.
Because when it was channel side, quote, channel side, no,
I mean, call it that.
Yeah, no one, I mean, I did not enjoy channel side. I didn't. It's the exact same location, but how the vibe, the energy surrounding Water Street.
It is amazing. Now, can they do that? Jeff Vinnick is such a success. The owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning and what he was able to do. Monday Night Football, one of the games this year, it was Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. And on the broadcast, they had them stay at the Addition. Now, these guys travel all around the world. They've been together for 20 years. And they were like, boy, where we're staying in this place in downtown Tampa is one of the coolest vibes of any place in America. Don't you agree, Joe?
Cool.
How about that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, I mean, it really is something down there. But who knows? Can they mirror that? Are they going to be able to pull that off? Time will tell.
Okay, let's talk about the Lightning.
Yep.
They had a disappointing end to their season. What are your thoughts on what they did wrong? What do they need to do? Is it coaching? Is it talent? Where do they go from here?
Well, you know what? You can look at it like they still have some really good pieces in Kucherov, who didn't come through in the playoffs, Vasilevsky. They've got a really good coach in John Cooper. The general manager said he's going to be around for a while. But the bottom line is, yes, they've made the playoffs the last 4 years. They've been eliminated in the first round the last 4 years. So if you take a step back, they're still a force, But you got to make changes. And when you're looking at a team like Montreal, the team that beat them, 3 of their stars were 23, 22, 23 years old. You know, it's a young man's game, and you got to keep bringing in younger people. So I think, again, they're run from top to bottom the right way, but you do have to make some changes. You really do. Got to look in the mirror.
Right.
I know, you know, and that's tough. I mean, you know, that's tough, but that is the reality, and especially when it does come to certain industries more so, when the physical part of it is just so important. I mean, who can deny? I was much stronger at 23 than I am now, or like, you know, the ability to move and, you know, all of that stuff. Not that they're not great in their season, but it is what it is, right, Rock?
It's a young man's game. All these sports are, really, right?
I mean,
what the average NFL player lasts less than 4 years, I think.
When you talk to them, like when I was growing up, and I would look at a Major League Baseball player like, wow, that's a man. And now when they come in at 22 years old, you're like, they are kids. They are kids. Yeah, physically, they're incredible. Last year, Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now he's an all-pro tackle. He's been there probably 4 years. We're asking him, it's called a media scrum. You have several reporters that are around one player. And we're asking him about Baker Mayfield, their quarterback. And this reporter, Jenna Lane of ESPN, is like, does he remind you, Tristan, of like a Brett Favre? You know, he's kind of a gunslinger. And Tristan Wirfs is like, and we're like, you never heard of Brett Favre, did you?
Oh.
And no, he's like,
oh my God!
No.
Whoa!
And then he goes, he played, and he said,
played.
He goes,
oh my
gosh! He goes,
that's
you
crazy.
know what? Was he with the Minnesota Vikings? I played him on Madden.
Oh my gosh!
So and again, this isn't a kid coming out of college. He's there like 4 years.
Right.
So you just realize they're young.
Yeah, really young.
They're
Oh my
kids.
gosh!
The media.
But how could you not know Brett
I
Favre?
know.
No, it's just how it goes. I mean, that's a long time ago. You know what they did last year? The social media, that's a big thing too. These teams now, they have social media departments. They hire a lot. Like if I'm coming out of college, that's how to get good gigs, like social media. You know your social media, you might be able to get a gig. They put a couple of things out as Buccaneer players were coming out to practice. They put a rotary phone out there. And they were videoing for social media, and all of them were like, "What the heck is that?" They had no idea. Then they put out a tape machine.
Oh my God!
It was like beta tape that you would put in.
VHS, Betamax.
They were standing around like they had never even seen this.
That's crazy.
Again, when you say young man's game, like they are still kids to me.
That's brilliant, though. I mean, that would have been, from a social media standpoint, how hilarious.
Okay, so we talked about the Lightning. How about the Rays? Where do you see the Rays headed this season?
How about the Rays?
Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
Like they have one of the lowest payrolls, $87 million. I know, isn't that something?
I know, but honestly, but they do have one of the lowest payrolls.
And they always do.
They're
always competitive.
And they are doing it. And they're doing what hitting, bunting, and stealing bases the old school way. Because I had a player a couple of years ago, and I said to him, I go, how come you guys don't bunt? And the guy goes, I don't make money bunting. I make money bunting, hitting the long
home
ball.
runs, yeah.
You know, there's an old saying, chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah.
Well, fans dig the long ball. Yeah. But the Rays are getting it done like old school ways, bunting, stealing, because they don't have the payroll for big power hitters. And I think it's kind of cool.
It's more fun to watch because so many of these teams that are so good that have these gigantic payrolls with so many great players, it's like you're just watching either a bunch of strikeouts or a bunch of home runs, and that's boring. Like the stealing bases is fun. That's exciting. That's what brings people to want to watch baseball.
You are exactly right. So that's kind of catching on around the country. They're getting a lot of publicity. The other thing is even though these guys make a lot of money, and it is the top of Major League Baseball, it still comes down to, do you all get along? Do you have each other's back? Shane McClanahan is one of the star young pitchers for the Rays. Great guy. And he was telling me the other day on their road trip, and he's been around for a couple of years now, say it's 4 or 5 years. He goes, when they go on a road trip, baseball's different. Hockey, football, basketball, you go into a city, you're there for one game. So you get in the day before. Baseball, you're there for 3-4 game series. So you're in the hotel, you're in the town for 3 or 4 nights. So it's different. and they'll say, hey, man, who wants to go to dinner tonight? You know, they all have different things, and they're around each other all the time. And Jay McClanahan goes, on this last road trip, yeah, I'm in. We'll meet in the lobby. We'll go to a restaurant at a certain time. He went down there. There were 16 Rays players in the lobby, all going out to dinner at the same time.
That's awesome.
He's like, I've never seen that before. He goes, we are tight. So
cool.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
There's no I in
A real team, that's right.
A real team, and I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's one of my most favorite things that I always say, that there's no I in team.
Right.
But to actually hear it, and that is the
And
case.
see it, and see it in
it's a
practice.
beautiful-
Right?
yeah,
It
it's a
explains why a
beautiful
team
thing.
with
Yeah.
that size payroll can do so well.
A couple years ago when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, when they had one of their team meetings before the season started, they went to a restaurant, they had a big long table, and they said, okay, there was a basket in the middle. Everybody put your phones in the basket. We are not going to be on our phones. We're going to bond, and we're just going to talk. And it's a little thing like that.
I love
Every
that.
family in America should do that at the dinner table every night.
Right? Right?
I love that.
Okay, football. The
Yes.
Bucs have been a disappointment in the last couple seasons,
Yes.
even though they made it to the playoffs, arguably undeservedly so. Teams
Because
with
our
teams
division,
with
I
losing
mean,
records
I
should
know.
not be in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Our division's pretty easy compared to.
So, what's your take on the Bucs? How did they do in the draft, and where do you see them going next year?
Well, it looks good on paper. I always say that. I try not to get too high, too low, because, again, they don't have pads on. You're not really competing yet. They have shorts, T-shirts, helmets. But this draft is I do like it. They got this Ruben Bain out of Miami. He is all business. Like, when they had the draft, it was in Pittsburgh this year, and they announced the first round picks. And they come out, they're going to meet Roger Goodell on the stage. They had whatever it was, 350,000 fans standing there. It's a draft. That's how big the NFL. They set the record in Pittsburgh. Detroit had it 2 years ago. But anyway, Ruben Bain, this guy's like all business. And he's got his suit on. He comes walking by. They have the hat. It's in the hallway that they make right before you're going to go on stage. There's also a mirror there. So what every one of these players does, they grab the hat. They're now on this team. They put it, they look in the mirror, make sure, they go. Ruben Bain walked, he took the hat, not looking in the mirror, put it on, does not care. He's all business.
Yeah, that's cool.
Out of the
what you
Miami.
want.
So they kind of need that. And they were saying, like, the attitude, it got a little bit too nice. You need some guys that are kind of like tough when you get on the field. This is the NFL. So they actually looked in their personalities besides what they did on the field. They call them dogs or they kind of
Isn't
needed
that
a little bit more.
interesting?
Need kind of a little bit.
insight.
Yeah, you need a little bit more of that. So we'll see. We'll see. But it was bad. They went 1-7 after the bye. They did win the last game, but it was bad. And so the Glazers they kept Todd Bowles, which I thought, man, I think you need a change. But he did bring in 6 new assistant coaches. And they're younger, and I saw these guys out on the field during the Bucs minicamp, and oh my God, there is a little bit of a difference. Yeah. Sometimes you just need that. Yeah. You got to change the vibe, bring in some new blood, and so they have that. So we'll see. We shall see.
It's I'm sorry, Rock.
No, you're good.
When we were talking about Todd Bowles, it is kind of interesting because I went to a game. One of the games I went to and they lost. It was the Atlanta game, I believe, and they lost like in the last, a few seconds by 1 point. And man, when I was walking out, it was not like get rid of Baker, get rid of it. It was get rid of Bowles, get rid of Bowles. Yeah. Now I feel we all know that there's a tremendous amount of pressure, of course, with the coaches. But to your point, with what you said, that you feel like perhaps there should be some fresh blood. Would you have wanted to see that change?
Yeah, I had said it too. I had wanted to see it changed. I thought that there needed to be a change. But like I say, he brought in a whole bunch of new coaches, and he certainly is going to be on the hot seat. I was kind of surprised, though. Why did the Glazers? Because so many fans. Right. I said the easiest thing for me to do, and I could tell younger people that are there at the station, if you have a slow day, all you got to do is, all right, Todd Bowles, here's your phone numbers. The phone lines are going to be lit. I mean, that's how the fans feel. Majority.
So I want to ask you a question behind the scenes,
yes.
right? We know how this works as journalists in the regular public sphere. Sports is a little different.
Yeah.
When you're critical as a sports broadcaster of Coach Bowles, and you publicly state your opinion that you think they should let him go. How does that affect your relationship with him and the team when you're behind the scenes in the locker room and at their pressers?
No, that's hard because you have some hosts that never go to the facility, which that's their thing. You can rip and rip and rip. I go. I stand there man to man. So, but you also can't be a homer. Like everything is positive all the time because fans will see through that. Fans know. Fans can feel. If you're just yourself and you're truthful. Rondé Barber, who's a beloved in the community,
big time.
and he's a Hall of Famer, and he's had a show on the NBC affiliate, the Rondé Barber Show, and he's been somewhat critical at times. So I saw him at the Super Bowl on Radio Row, and I said, Rondé, anybody give you any heat in the building? He goes, no, because I'm telling what I'm seeing, what I'm believing. I'm being truthful. So if this is how I feel, how can anybody get on me? So I think that's the biggest thing. If you back it up with your opinion and you believe it, all right. We all have different opinions. But I'm wondering, Bowles, is he looking at me sideways?
You're
not on his Christmas card list.
Right, no, right.
But that, don't you feel, I mean, news directors early on in my career and general managers would even say, you just need to be genuine.
Yes.
And I truly feel no matter what profession you're in, but especially on camera, whether it's sports, whether it's hosting, whether it's, the more genuine and real you are, that people can relate.
They really do. They do.
I do want to ask one more question, though, going back to the Bucs. I'm like all over the place. They are building the team, though. Around Baker.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that is I mean, that's the whole.
Oh, he is well beloved. Now, he also, just like the rest of the team, and it does start up front. And the offensive line, there were a lot of injuries. And I know you can't use injuries as an excuse. So if you don't have a good base, it's like building a house. You can have the nicest backsplash and all that, but if your construction, your foundation is off, it's the same thing with an offense and defensive line. But they love Baker. The guys love Baker. He is a regular guy. When he came here, it was funny because his first press conference, and he's from Texas. He had never come to Tampa Bay. And he goes, you know what they told me? They said people love their Bucs, and they love the Lightning. He didn't mention the Rays. And we said, well, there's a baseball team. He goes, you know what? I'm a Texas guy, the Rangers. But he became friends with Tristan Wirfs, and he went to a lot of Lightning games. But no, they all love Baker.
He's such a class act.
He really is.
He's such a class act. On Davis Island, so he lives on
Oh, so you know
Davis
Baker.
Island. Well, this is like the sweetest. This is like the sweetest story. So they're passing out candy, and there's a little guy, right? So and he's dressed up in costume. Baker is, so you can't tell it's Baker.
Oh, okay.
So there's a little guy though that goes up to the door, and he's dressed up as Baker Mayfield. So he goes up to Baker, and he goes, trick or treat. He's like 5 years old or whatever, and Baker says to him, he's like, wow, you like Baker Mayfield? He's like, I love him. I love him. And then he lifts up his costume. Isn't it? It's the sweetest story.
That's so cool.
Isn't that so cool?
On video?
He's taking pictures.
That's
well,
so cool.
very, very. He reminds me, honestly, Derek Jeter, also such a class act.
Yeah.
Such a class act. And taking pictures with all the kids and everything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's not shared on the video, it's like the family. I'm sure the family has been sharing things, but it was so sweet.
That is cool.
Class act, and his wife is just amazing too. I mean, they're just really wonderful people.
That's nice.
All right, Rock. We're gonna wrap it up here, but I want to ask you, what is your favorite, best story you've ever covered behind the scenes, or that just you covered for public viewing?
God, man. That is tough. I got to go through. I know.
40 years of memories.
That is a tough one.
I know. You know what? I got a lot of them, but I think one of them was I was able to go to Tokyo, Japan on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays plane and go to Tokyo when they played the New York Yankees. And George Steinbrenner did not believe in his team fraternizing, and they weren't allowed to drink any beer or anything because they would get dehydrated. And I got to go on the plane with the Rays, and when you travel with a major league team like that, it's just so different. It's unbelievable. the way you're treated. Yeah. So we fly. We stop in San Francisco to refuel. We get to Tokyo. We get on a bus with the Devil Rays, the team. They were staying at the same team hotel as the Yankees, and they were going to open up the season in the Tokyo Dome against the Yankees. But they also had 2 games against the Yomiuri Giants and the other team from Japan. Same thing. They had a batting practice. 45,000 kids in Little League uniforms were there. I was like, this is batting practice? Huh. So 2 things. We get to the team hotel. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. This is the Devil Rays. They weren't even that good. Lou Piniella was the manager at the time. And these fans in Japan, that's how close they follow Major League Baseball. They they were waiting in droves outside the team hotel. Wow. And Doug Wechter is a young pitcher. He grew up in St. Pete. And there were pictures of Doug Wechter, will you sign? And we were like, can you imagine when the Yankees get here? Right. So then, next day, I'm waiting to get on the bus to go to, and Yogi Berra was a legendary name in baseball. He has since passed away, and he was sitting there on the lobby, and he's like, how you doing? I'm like, how you doing, Yogi? I'm like, this is Yogi Berra. No way. So we were just talking, and he goes, boy, they love their baseball in Japan. Wait till you see today. We get to the Tokyo Dome. Like I said, it was just batting practice. They were showing it nationally to everyone in Japan. I get there, we're waiting to go through security. They have all these little leaguers in their uniforms, 45,000 fans. Wow. And they had a big screen TV outside. It's showing Tropicana Field, and it's showing Raymond, the team mascot, running down the stairs, and all these Japanese fans looking at Raymond. I'm like, they don't even have this much interest back in St. Pete. And I'm in Tokyo, outside the Tokyo Dome. So I think that was one of my coolest memories. Yeah, how
you should write a book about 40 years in journalism.
Absolutely.
They like a lot of dirt, though, in order to get on the bestseller.
You're a clean guy.
Yeah, well, I'm still in it, so you know how it goes.
All right, Rock Riley, Tampa Free Press, WDAE. Awesome. What time is your show on?
I'm on every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7. I'm on 3 hours on Saturdays. If you just follow me on my social media at Real Rock Riley, Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, Rock Riley, and that's how you can follow all the stuff that I'm doing.
At Real Rock Riley.
There you go.
All right, Rock.
What
You're
a
the
pleasure.
real deal.
Oh, it's an honor.
Thanks for being here.
Honor. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Every story shared
adds another heartbeat to Tampa Bay.
From courage to community.
We are so proud to tell the stories that keep our community strong.
Thanks for watching The Heartbeat of Tampa Bay. Great seeing you, man.
Nice.
That was so much fun, Rock.